we've put together the Green Infrastructure Management Manual that actually tries to put this into an asset management planning framework. What do you think of that? Is because I guess we're coming at this from the angle that, you know, green infrastructure, natural assets have been seen as a nice to have, but no one's actually looking at how they're being measured, valued, etc. Do you see this? I mean, I don't mean this to be a leading question and you could disagree, but, you know, how do you see that all playing out into the, you know, the thinking around the asset management planning framework for green infrastructure? Do you agree with it? Disagree with it? No,
agree with it. I think while I agree with it, the structure is good. You know, most of our public service agencies will require structure. If you're going to maintain any kind of infrastructure, you need a budget. You need to know how you're going to do it. You need to be able to forecast those things. So the structure is good. I think that we also need to acknowledge that green infrastructure is probably a little bit different. At the risk of offending all of your members, I think there may be a slightly more dynamic nature to green infrastructure than there may be, and I'm certainly no expert in the more traditional infrastructure. If you were at Kings Park in Perth, it would be a horrible shock to the system when shot hole borer turned up in some of the most valuable assets that you have, great trees that you know, now have this disease that we're unable to resolve, unable to manage. So I think that dynamic nature of green infrastructure is something that is probably a bit different to what you would typically have from hard infrastructure. That dynamic nature would mean that we'd need models that are probably potentially more flexible and able to respond to changing demands. I mean, it's so susceptible to climate, major weather events, and a whole range of other things. So I think the structure is good, but it may be a little bit different.
We tried to work or focus on a shared language with these things, right? So, you know, the engineering profession talks about asset management. It's got specific terms. And we tried to break that down a little bit into the Green Infrastructure Management Manual because, you know, if you're managing open spaces, leisure facilities, natural assets, you know, that's a domain of both your members and our members. Do you think there's more that needs to be done there?
Yes. Shared language always makes things a lot easier. But language is also important because it creates a bit of identity, I think. And if you're part of a certain cohort or profession, you know, there's a language. You know, you're not flashing gang signs, but you know, you soon know when you're involved in a conversation with somebody who is part of that cohort of people. I think, like all things, balance is important. So if there's technical things that we should be using the same language for, great. But also, by its nature, I think language also creates a belonging to a particular organization or field of people, and that's okay too.